Look at this network of disconnected nodes flashing across the screen. This represents the reality of traditional legal client intake. Phone calls turn into handwritten notes, follow-up emails get buried, and simple consultations fragment across 3 different software platforms. Adding a standalone AI voice widget or a basic website chatbot fails to solve this friction. It simply adds another isolated node to a system that already requires manual intervention to move data from point A to point B. To clear the bottleneck, the architecture has to change. We need a continuous AI operating layer, a system designed to connect entire workflows from the first phone call to the final deliverable. Discrete SaaS tools force attorneys to act as the human bridge between disjointed applications. A unified operational model absorbs that transit work, keeping the data intact as it moves through the pipeline. The core engineering challenge here is translation. The system has to take the highly unstructured reality of a stressed client explaining their problem and algorithmically convert it into highly structured, actionable legal execution. LegalScout provides the specific platform and framework to solve this exact translation problem. Law firms relying on disjointed, manual intake are strictly capped by the hours in a day. Transitioning into a unified, AI-driven pipeline allows a practice to scale its intake and execution without sacrificing the quality of its legal work. There is a persistent narrative in the tech industry that the end goal of legal AI is the fully autonomous law firm. Building an unsupervised legal advice engine is an operational trap. When an AI generates independent legal strategy without oversight, the output is inherently unreliable. In a heavily regulated profession, ungated AI introduces severe liability risks. A single hallucinated citation or improper procedural recommendation compromises the entire practice. To build reliable legal software, we have to apply negative constraints. These are strict, hard-coded boundaries defined entirely by what the system is prevented from doing. The primary negative constraint for LegalScout is that it must be strictly attorney-controlled. The AI suggests, formats, and drafts, but the attorney holds the final authority on every action. This is reinforced by human-supervised gating mechanisms. Workflows pause at critical junctions, requiring explicit approval before a draft is sent or a matter is officially filed. By locking the AI out of independent decision-making, these boundaries turn the system into an exceptionally reliable workflow assistant. The attorney is insulated from risk, while the AI focuses solely on organizing the labor. In regulated professional markets, an AI system's credibility and utility are defined entirely by the strict boundaries placed on its autonomy. Look at this architectural framework establishing the 7-layer AI operating model. Layer 1 is voice-first intake and consultation. Unstructured client audio is captured and formatted into structured data. This data moves into Layer 2, the persistent attorney workspace AI. Here, raw conversational data undergoes a critical transition. It is evaluated and converted into actionable operational directives. That evaluation builds Layer 3, matter and task orchestration. This triggers Layer 4, the mission-based assistant dispatch. This is a complex routing engine. Unlike a standard chatbot that simply replies to prompts sequentially, this layer assigns discrete goals and context to specific agents to handle parallel tasks. Together, these first 4 architectural layers take an ephemeral, chaotic client phone call and convert it into a concrete, automatically assigned task list. Once the internal work is orchestrated, the system securely delivers results to the external client. This happens at Layer 5, Client Portal Delivery. This interface unifies status updates, documents, and notes into a single secure point of visibility. Layer 6 governs productized legal service execution. Productized services move a firm away from bespoke, unpredictable hourly billing, replacing it with repeatable, strictly packaged deliverables. To keep these packaged services accurate and efficient, the operating model requires a continuous feedback loop. This is the final layer, memory-backed operational context. This enveloping layer captures every operational decision and piece of client context, using that historical data to improve how tasks are routed the next time the phone rings. This complete 7-layer stack shifts a law firm's operational model. It replaces one-off reactionary responses with compounding structural intelligence. Abstract architectural theory is only valuable if it executes reliably in production. We map the persistent workspace directly to LegalScout features, like chat interfaces recalling past artifacts. Orchestration and productized execution layers map to live order flows and purchase screens. The client portal layer translates into secure, real-time status updates. The memory capture and recall infrastructure is fully functional software, actively operating in law firms today. In B2B software, compelling market positioning requires a foundation of demonstrable code, not abstract promises of AI potential. The primary beneficiaries of this architectural shift are solo attorneys and small to mid-sized legal practices. These firms face a strict scaling trap. They cannot increase client responsiveness without linearly adding costly administrative headcount to manage the workload. Traditional, manual client follow-up consumes hours of billable time. Replacing it with bounded follow-up automation handles routine client communication within strict pre-approved limits. Implementing this bounded automation breaks the linear relationship between client volume and staffing requirements. A firm can process double the intake volume without doubling the staff. With the administrative burden lifted, the 7-layer architecture allows these smaller practices to safely explore, build, and launch profitable productized legal services. Scattered legal administration is replaced by a white-labeled AI infrastructure. Over time, that infrastructure functions as a growing, repeatable firm memory. True AI-native legal operations do not replace the attorney. They provide the operational packaging required to let the attorney's expertise scale effortlessly, safely, and securely.